somebody else that may be taking over for Joe Biden. I don't know if Joe Biden's going to go to the big house, but I know a lot of people think he should. But anyway, Donald Trump has got to be feeling pretty good because it's like no matter what they throw at him, he is Teflon Don. And it's like it just springs back and sticks to them, right? Like glue. It's amazing. Even when they got so upset about what he was saying about how there would be this bloodbath, he managed to make lemonade out of that one. Wait till you see this. But first, these are incredible poll numbers. The Wall Street Journal coming out with a brand new poll showing Donald Trump is leading Joe Biden in 6 out of 7 swing states. Take a look at this. Incumbent trails in most battlegrounds that decided 2016 and 2020 elections. So this is really good news for the 45th president of the United States, hoping to become number 47. Let's go deep into these polls and take a look at what we find. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Arizona, Trump 39%, Biden 34%. Other 6%, undecided 9%. Let's go over to Georgia. Wow, again, big numbers for Donald Trump. Michigan, even larger. I mean, you see him moving ahead. The dark purple is the latest poll. Look at North Carolina. This is really incredible. I mean, just fantastic. Nevada, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's got 6 out of 7. What do you know? I mean, he may just win this thing. I predicted it in 2016. It's hard to predict this early on. It really is. So I have to be careful here. But what I will tell you is this. Those poll numbers aren't even as good as they could be. And the reason they're not as good as they could be is that people are still hesitant. They're still fearful. I mean, you get the mainstream media and The View and everybody telling you every single day, you are a bad person. You get the president of the United States telling you you're a bad person. If you're a conservative, if you're a MAGA Republican, which you'd have to be if this is going to be the nominee for the Republican Party, which he is, that makes you a MAGA conservative. So half the country, well, they're just bad people, right? If you listen to the media, if you listen to the White House. And so as a result of that, as a result of the cancel culture on steroids that we live in, people don't want to come out and say it. And then when you go knee deep into the polls and you look at numbers like the economy and you look at numbers like the border and you look at, for example, what you see on policy issues, you know what you find? You find over and over again that people are wildly more in favor of Donald Trump. I mean, they score him 20 points higher on the economy. They score him 30 points higher on the border. And now when it comes down to the issues that people really care about right now, and trust me, they care about these things, crime, they say Donald Trump handled it better. And then when they say, well, who are you going to vote for? Suddenly those spreads narrow and they're like, oh, because they don't want to say it. They don't want to tell you. I mean, that's a sad state we're in, but there's an intimidation factor, a big intimidation factor. And I actually think it's going to cause people to come out like you've never seen before for Donald Trump. They may not be telling the pollsters that, but it's what they intend to do. And there are a bunch of examples, but I think it's important to show you how hysterical this has made the mainstream media. I mean, MSNBC, which, gosh darn it, I mean, it's just nauseating. They don't even pretend, right? They don't even pretend to have any kind of semblance of not being biased. So they got these numbers, which came out late last night. And so there they were, 6 a.m., bright and early, trying to digest it all. And let's just say it's like crisis time in the halls of 30 Rock. Let's watch.
Trump neck and neck in every swing state. According to the new numbers from the Wall Street Journal, Trump leads Biden in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Nevada, and Pennsylvania by figures that are all within the poll's margin of error. In Wisconsin, the survey shows the two candidates tied at 46% each. The poll also finds negative perceptions about the economy remain a problem for Biden. 63% of swing state voters say the U.S. economy overall is not so good or poor condition, while 36% say it's in excellent or good condition. But when asked to rate the economic conditions in their own states, the majority of voters in 5 of those 7 swing states say it's in excellent or good shape. Joining us now, CEO of the Messina Group, Jim Messina. He served as White House Deputy Chief of Staff to President Obama and ran his 2012 re-election campaign.
Jim, as we always say, these are snapshots. The 2 things that I'm looking at right now, obviously, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Michigan, so critical. They're all very close. I'm surprised by, again, I would never guess this 5 years ago, that Joe Biden continues to perform best in Wisconsin. That Wisconsin, of all states, seems to be a state. Older white guys actually aren't thrilled with what's happening with Donald Trump. Georgia, tighter.
Okay, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it's almost like a funeral, right? I mean, have you ever seen their faces so long and down and out? And did you hear one of the things that the female host, Mika Brzezinski, said about those economy numbers? This was very interesting. She went to the graphic where it showed what people thought about how they individually were doing, right? They talked about the national economy and how they felt, and those numbers were pretty dismal. 63% of the people in America say the economy's not in a good spot, and they blame Joe Biden, and then only 36% feel like it's okay. Well, then she segregated it out, and she said, but when you ask them about their individual situation, they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing fine. So it's almost like she's saying, how dare you? How dare you suggest that the economy's not doing great because you know what, you're doing fine. Maybe people are just kind of optimistic. I don't know. Maybe they're like, yeah, you know what, I'm making it work. I'm getting by. But overall, it kind of feels like a drag. I told you it would be. Did I not say that this would be Carter 2.0? Really? And like everything I can think about with the 70s, I was born in the 70s. I was a little kid in the 70s. And like there's like a grainy image, right? And it's not just my memory. The 80s feels kind of fun and happy and bright. Reagan was in charge then. We had Jimmy Carter in the 70s. And it just felt dismal. And now it feels even more dismal. And that's all thanks to Joe Biden, who's just a downer in every way, shape, and form. And now poor Joe Biden, well, he's stumbling as a downer, and one doesn't even know if he's going to be able to make it, shall we say, to November. So when I say that I think Donald Trump is in really good shape, I do think he's in really good shape. I mean, there's some things that they have to do, and Lara Trump is all over this. There are some things that they have to do to clean things up and to make sure that this is a fair fight. And I have full confidence in her. She's done this amazing fundraising. We're going to talk about that in a little bit, but she's got a lot on her plate. And I think between her ability to drill down on some of those issues and her team's ability, frankly, to do that, as well as Donald Trump's charisma and just, well, the pure bad darn luck of Joe Biden, you're looking at a very positive November. The question is, can you get the rest, right? You want to get the rest. You need to get the rest. And that's what my friends over at American for Prosperity are trying to do. AmericansForProsperity.org. This is a team of people that I know very well, and they're really smart, and they want to make sure that if Donald Trump wins this thing and they want him to win this thing, we need a Republican in the White House, that we get Republicans everywhere, that we get conservatives that care about having limited government in the spirit of live free or die. New Hampshire, where I grew up. You want that limited government. You want low taxes. You want to encourage people to be able to do for themselves and get all the red tape out of the way. So in fact, they need that freedom to prosper. You want to have a secure, safe country. You want to have a border. You want to have low taxes. You want to onshore more money from overseas and not send all these American companies abroad. You want to encourage small business. I mean, all of these things that are so important. So they're working hard. I just want to give them a plug. AmericansForProsperity.org. If you get a chance, check them out. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful group.